Oh, wow. That is very different lighting. Jesus. How do I make this less blue? Holy mother. Alright, that's just not going to look right today. It just won't be. I was messing with some camera settings for better, like, card quality, and the face cam is just, like, taking a hit for it. That, disregard this. We're switching to just where I look smaller. There we go. There, it still looks so blue. I can't change it. The camera's too far away. It's on the backside, whatever. But hello, everyone. So today, I'm pretty short on free time, not gonna lie. But we really need to, you know, just build up the hype. That's what today's all about. We're gonna have EthnicSmoke on. EthnicSmoke, good friend at this point, and he is joining me in streaming the battle-hardened New Jersey this weekend. So, should be pretty fun. Just hang out, you know, build up some rapport, and go over a game, maybe like cast a game or so, play a game or so, whatever it is, just to build up some hype for this weekend, because the reason I'm so short on free time is because I've been putting in so much work. Like, I really am so excited for this weekend. It's not just, oh, porting over, you know, the old overlays. No, not at all. Wait till you see the new build I have going here. And speaking of new builds, check this out. This is another feature we can show off. Man, I'm so blue. I really don't want to look over myself. It's freaky. All right, 1 second. Let's get this all where it needs to be. Yes, turn on phone. You can do it. Hold up, technical difficulties. I think if I switch over. Hello, test, test. Okay, oops, I forgot to turn on the mic. There we go. Mic is on. It is a different mic than normal, so let me know if it sounds bad. But, check this out. Dragon Shield has sent an insane amount of product to give away this weekend. Like this deep box, everything in here, is to give away this weekend. So, that's pretty hype. You don't want to miss that. I mean, it's a lot of everything you can imagine with Dragon Shield. Sleeves, art sleeves, flesh and blood sleeves, their dual mats, everything like that, right? The other exciting part about this weekend coming up is I finally got my business cards in the mail. And they're not normal business cards, are they? No, they look like this. You got the Discord link on one side, QR code and all that, and then a full art Plasma Fett token on the other side. Look at that. That is fantastic. I touched it up in Photoshop a little bit. I scanned in a poster that I had of it so that we could actually get the full art going. Because you don't actually see this in full art anywhere, not even on the Flesh and Blood website. But that is pretty sick. And these are just business cards, so they're free. I mean, if you want one, just come say hi. That's it. That's pretty hype. We got all that going. Yes, there are those Dragon Shield Dromai sleeves. Alright. That was a little too impromptu. I wasn't ready. Camera shy, you know. Alright, let's turn that off. Should be back to the other mic now. Okay, so let me throw EthnicSmoke in on the call here. He was waiting for me. It's pretty early his time. Let's start a video call. And toss him in. I've been out of the loop for quite a while. Did you ever get your actual cards back from the Dirtbag airline? No, that will never happen. They are officially stolen. Like, not just lost, but, like, legitimately they were stolen. And FedEx can't find who did it. And so you would think that they are eager to help me recoup the money that was lost, right? But they're not. Instead, they're chalking it up to basically their policy, which is if no value was declared upon shipment, they'll only pay out $100. But the issue was, I never shipped it. It was the airline that shipped it with FedEx. And the airline didn't declare value. And I don't know why they didn't declare value. I wrote in my claim to them that it was worth like $6 grand, right? Like I wrote that down. But when they found it and shipped it with FedEx, they said no claim. Or they said no value rather. So FedEx is trying to hold me to that standard of just being worth $100, right? But that's ridiculous because like I did say it was worth money and I trusted the airline to handle this whole deal, like between the shipping company and all that, and they just didn't. So it's like a three-way blame triangle between the airport, which they're the ones who technically shipped it, the airline, and FedEx. It's awful. It is like so bad. Also, yeah, what's going on? Green Sant. Let me fix that. Come on, stream. What's happening? Hold up. Let me just turn this off. Oh, hey package. Good to see you. Yes, I do hear you. Oh man. No, you can't see the screen because Discord can't steal the camera input from OBS. Can't share it. Yeah, there you go. All right, come on. Let's get you fixed here, camera. What is going on? Hold up. Deactivate properly, activate properly. There we go. Alright, so I'm no longer green, I'm still blue. Can't fix the blue though. That's a setting inside the camera. And then where are you? I had this ready. That's interesting. It should be picking up desktop. All right, let me change that too. No, yeah, it's fixed. It's fixed. All right, say something. Nope. Well, should have done this before. You're right. All right, try it again. Huh. They cannot hear you. This is super true. They also can't see you, but I can fix that easily. Let's get that up and running. Yeah. Let's just crop you down. So everybody's here. Whole gang's here. Oh, you know what? I can share my screen with you at least and see it that way. All right, but there you are. You're at least on camera. Why doesn't it pick up audio? It normally always picks up audio. All right, try that again. Say something.
Testing.
Oh, there you go. Now they can hear you. All right, say something again.
Nice. Hey, what's up? Good morning.
All right, that's probably okay, like sound-wise. We'll leave it at that.
Sounds good.
Oh, so many technical difficulties. I wasn't ready, apparently. But here we go. One of the reasons I wasn't ready, just by the way, people, is because there is a Twitch stream going on simultaneously. Like, that is something I'm trying out through a sponsor. I don't really care too much about having a Twitch stream going, but it is a nice way for the sponsor to go ahead and get some traction going on their end, right? Like, you know, if I wasn't using the platform, they might as well use it. And should work. So that's what we got. We're live to the world, package, YouTube and Twitch.
Live.
Hello, everyone.
Hell yeah.
Hey. So let's see. How can I do this best? So I can share my screen, and that shouldn't interfere with anything. Screen.
And sharing in Discord as well?
Yeah. So check that. Yeah. Make sure that works. Yes. But then I need to go back to clicking you. There we go. All right, does this all function? You see my screen?
Yes. Yes, I can see Tyler Shore.
And they see you on screen now as well? Beautiful.
I think so. Yeah.
Beautiful.
And they can hear me? That's what chat says?
Seems to be working. Yes. Okay.
Perfect.
Well, hey, check this out. You think your YouTube audio is going slightly ahead of the video? Slightly ahead. Ooh. Well, that's something I can't quite troubleshoot because with the whole restream thing... Yeah. It takes the data, like Restream is what shares it between Twitch and YouTube. Technically, I'm streaming to Restream, and then Restream splits it between Twitch and YouTube so that it's not actually harder on the bandwidth. And OBS doesn't let you stream simultaneously anyway, like you have to use a program like this. So, nothing I can do about that. That might just be something wrong with Restream. Seems synced to Levi? Okay, well then, boom. There we go. Here we can do a test. Ready? I'll clap. Ready? 1, 2. See if that synced up. I don't know. They can let us know.
I didn't hear a clap.
Oh, you didn't? I did. I did clap, but the microphone might not pick it up because of like sound settings or whatever.
I was thinking of that. Yeah.
Whatever. All right. Let's move on. Let's move. Oh, you'll clap. There we go. Yeah, go.
1.
That also wasn't very loud. Try again.
Oh, okay.
Try again.
3, 2, 1.
Okay.
My mic might have a similar setting as well, where it's not picking up claps. Yeah, I see you clapping, but I can't hear it.
Well, I did hear that one. So if everyone heard that in sync, then it's on my end, not you, which would honestly be a good thing.
Good. Are we going to be streaming this Saturday to Twitch and YouTube as well?
Well, that's what today is about. If it like really doesn't work, then it's not worth sacrificing the stream on Saturday, right? If it was easy peasy and it does just function, then like, yeah, why not? It doesn't actually like put any more stress on the system or anything. It's supposedly easier this way. And it does share the chat as well. So check this out. If I type something, if I say something here, if I say something in Twitch, Restream bot should send it through YouTube as well, which like In theory, it's pretty cool. Of course, it didn't do
It
it.
is.
So,
I think I saw someone else in the chat like talk on Twitch and it said restream bot or something. I think it happened earlier.
okay,
Yeah,
cool.
restream bot
Okay.
earlier.
Well, anyway.
Does it happen the other way as well? Like YouTube chat? To
Yes,
Twitch?
it should. It should. In fact, we can do a systems check on that. Let's pull up Twitch right now. This is all just a learning process. Bear with us.
Yeah, and we have a big event this weekend, right? We have the Pro Quest. Honestly, I still don't know what hero I'm playing. Do you know what you're playing on Sunday?
Hold on 1 second. Let's do this again. Testing. All right, now I think if I actually like type directly in, it'll work. Yeah, it does. And Restream Bot is popping it all up on the side anyway.
That is pretty sick.
All right, sick. Yes, so we have not only the event that we're casting, right? We're not only taking on the battle-hardened New Jersey, but there is an actual Pro Quest on that Sunday as well. So, here we go. The Battle Hardened right here, Saturday, starts at 9 a.m. I think the stream start, we're planning like 9. Oh yeah, we're starting at 9. The games should kick off at like 9:30. So we'll do a bit of an intro, make sure everything's settled tech-wise right at 9. But this is all a one-day event, right? All the way through top 8. It's going to be a long day, like 10-hour day, probably. But on Sunday, we get a bit of a break, and we have the option to play in the Pro Quest. I think I'm going to do it, even if I'm like exhausted as all get out. Like it's still just good experience, right? So I'll play Levia. Like I mean, there's no question. So I don't have to stress about those kinds of things.
I don't know. I hear nowadays you're on fire.
No,
oh, Dromai.
That's not even true. For like a stream, okay? For like a stream, I'll play another deck.
Okay.
That means nothing for a big event. I'll always pick Levia first. I mean, not everybody drops from Nats on a meta hero just so that they can play in the calling on Levia. No one's done that before.
True.
No one should do that. But you know, here I am.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's kind of the upcoming stuff this weekend. Oops. And I wanted to preview a bit of the stream for everyone today, just to try to build some excitement, because I've been putting a lot of work into this. You've seen what I've been working on. You're also putting in really good effort on some of the planning that I just don't have time for. So thank you on that.
Of course.
But just to give a little teaser, let me pull up. Let me pull up a little bit of a preview of the stream itself. So I need to add this view source. 1 second. We'll change this to OBS. All right, so check this out, everyone. Here we go. So this is some of the stuff we're working on for the stream on Saturday, right? First things first, caster cam. These are placeholder images just for measuring stuff out, right? But we'll have the caster cam going, obviously. We've got those nice, beautiful transitions. We're going to have a bit of a couple segments we play with for giveaways and things like that. But this is where some of the really cool features I've been working on come into. So check this out. We can actually draw on the screen. Pretty insane, right? Of course, wait, now I need to change my stream deck so I can actually delete those keys. 1 second. There we go. All right, so we can draw on screen. Might work that into a couple things, why not? We can do some fancy video intros to different views, different games, things like that bleed right into screens like this, where we're going to be doing a bit of a key card feature. Shout out to Package, this was his idea, where we'll work in some, pre-commentary on the game and like pull in cards that are worth talking about, things like that. You'll see the board itself in here as we lead into the game. Also, for whatever reason, Bravo doesn't have a parallax image. I'm not going to make one, so we're just going to use Starvo for Bravo. Sorry, everyone. That's just, it is what it is. Then for the table itself, that series that I did on the LSS YouTube channel was pretty much practice for like this type of setup. The lighting wasn't great, which is why my camera looks blue right now, is because I was changing some of the warmth settings in the camera, to make it more bright, if possible, changing exposure and things like that. I just forgot to undo that, I guess. But we'll have the game itself look something like this. We can track turn counters. Look at that. track turns. That's a feature from Talishar. This right here. That is really fun to play with because, like, you know, normally you track up to turn 15. That's pitch stack, right? So turns are a relevant part of the game, and I think adding them to an overlay will be really interesting for the viewer. Of course, also we have the timer, which we can pause, reset, all things like that. Just very fluid. We've got the left and right cameras. I'm going to work on making this a bit higher quality because the cameras were pretty far away at Dan's setup, but there is a way to make this better because these are good cameras. They're just not catching the cards very well just because of the distance. But of course, we have that on both sides, so we can zoom in and like take a closer look. If you know someone's really thinking on a hand, then we might as well look at it and think along with them, right? Then we've got winner screens for, you know, just to give the winner a bit of a spotlight real quick on the game that they just took down, and transition easily back into casting and things like that. Then we've also got that roaming phone cam. This isn't set up yet, but just imagine all your smiling faces, you know, all around SEGCon, as I take the phone cam around on the floor and walk. You know, walk, and find people to talk to, find people who want to be on stream, want to just say something to the microphone, and, you know, just have some fun. Like, things like that will be really cool. And so we'll actually, like, work that into the broadcast as well. As long as the internet, I mean, this is all hoping the internet works out, right? Like, if it doesn't, like, what do we do? Yeah, anyway.
All this looks so clean. Your production quality just keeps going up and up, and it's gotten me really, really excited. And also, especially with our like little fun segments that we're going to be doing in between games, I'm really looking forward to it. Oh wait, are you seeing it on stream? Is it actually showing the preview at all? Well, I'm seeing it on Discord. Oh, you're seeing it on Discord. Wait, this is true. Yeah, for whatever reason. I don't think people could see it on YouTube. Why not? Oh, hold up. Display capture. All right, we'll just change it then. We'll do this. Move this down. This will definitely capture it if the other one wasn't. All right. Damn, I don't think anyone actually saw what I was clicking through. Man, that is very unfortunate. So we'll speed run it because I already talked through it. But basically, caster screen, right? With the ability to draw. So that should be pretty fun. Yeah, we couldn't see LOL is what they're saying. Oh, no. Oh yeah. Okay, but regardless, yeah, we've got these cool features going on here. This is like a bit of a key card segment that we're going to be working into the stream. So you can see now, right? Everyone can see this. You can draw on things. We'll be porting in cards to talk about for each matchup. Whatever. Everyone sees that. We've got the table view itself with turn counter, which we can tick up, tick down. And I think that's a feature from Talishar that's going to port over pretty interestingly, I think. Then we've got the left and right camera views, right? Boom, boom, boom. We've got the winner screens. And then the phone itself. Man, I was doing all these really cool drawings for everybody to help along. But, you know, microphone. And we're going to, like, walk with it, you know? So people who want to jump in and just say something to the camera or whatever, do interviews on the ground, all that's now possible. We've got graphics as well I've been working on for, like, the meta, the top cut, things like that. And ambient screen will capture all of SEGCon, so people will be able to, you know, just kind of walk around, say hello, see themselves on stream, whatever they want. A lot of integration of the event itself into the broadcast, which is better than just showing the games, is my opinion on that, right? Anyway, now let's cut all this because it was barely functional anyway, and get back to. Well, they'll see it on Saturday. Yeah, anyway, so they'll see it on Saturday. Just wanted to give a bit of a teaser because there's some cool stuff. There's some cool stuff going on. Hype. Yeah. Incredibly hype. Other than it's not Bravo, it's Starvo. Yeah, and yeah, we don't talk about it. Yeah, we don't talk about him. That's right. We shouldn't even mention it. This is true. Yeah. This is crazy that it's all you. Well done. Thank you, Ryan. Yeah, well, you can see the ups and downs because it's just me. So we just went through like a 5-minute segment and it wasn't even working, and I didn't even know because I don't have a team behind me to check all the work I'm putting in. But it is just me, and whenever I have time, even sacrificing like the work hours, I'm trying to jump in and just like keep with improvements, keep making things interesting, and just a better broadcast experience for Fab overall, because I don't really like what CFB and SEGCon have been doing, like, quite honestly. I think most people complain about it, and it is kind of hard to see those big orgs charge so much money and obviously not put the care of making it a Fab-centered broadcast. Like, they ported it over from Magic, right? And so, zooming in on the combat chain, like, how is that a relevant part of Flesh and Blood? That was like someone's quick pitch to some graphic designer who's doing this all for them, or video designer, where they say, oh yeah, Fab has like a combat chain. And so someone who plays Magic thinks, okay, then that's like where we're going to zoom in. That's like the board state. That's where like things are relevant. But that's really like, it detracts from the experience of a Flesh and Blood game, because like, why on earth are you ever zooming in on the combat chain? Like, no one's doing that. It's about looking at your hand. It's about assessing turn by turn all the options you have. It's not about the combat chain. Things like that are just very annoying, and the fact that like the life is such a small part of their screens, of their stream setup, whereas that's a critical part in understanding like where you're at in your game plan. Anyway, things like that, very frustrating to see that no one was innovating on them. So that's what we did. That's all we're trying to do.
Completely agree. And also just the in-between game stuff, right? It used to, I think a lot of times it was just, oh, we're just going to show the venue and just be on pause for like 30 minutes.
Yeah, and that's really not engaging either, because it's a card game, right? It's about playing in the Flesh and Blood, and part of the reason to want to play in the Flesh and Blood is for all the little like luminary interactions that are going on with the rest of the event, right? Like saying hello to people. Get off the. Okay, goodbye, cat. Saying hello to people, walking around the venue, giving high fives, trading cards with people like that. Like, that's what makes the Flesh and Blood experience so much better than a digital card game experience. So I really want the broadcast to capture that. Like, that's the whole point, right? And I think we'll do a great job this weekend.
I think so too. You know what? One day, maybe if you can get a say in what venue we have, that'll be great.
Well, one day, yeah.
Remember the venue for Worlds?
Venue for Worlds? Hey, at least that would have been fun to catch on camera. You just look around, see people on the trapeze up there, just taking advantage of the circus tent. That would have been funny. But okay. Anyway, that was a bit of a teaser, not executed super well because I have like 30 tabs open for work, and this was like right after lunch and not a bunch of prep, but Package, you warned me about this. You did. You were like, we should do a test, and I'm like, sorry, don't got time.
Yeah, I was like 15 minutes before, but yeah.
Oh no. But what we can do, and I think this will be a good practice for everybody, is pull up this game. Oh, okay. People are going to lose.
Game?
No. People are going to lose sight of you for a second. But why don't you intro? You should know the game here. Let me just click through some things.
All right. So we're introing, I believe, your Dromai game against an Oldhim, against Flake's Oldhim, I believe.
Yes.
Oh, right. So yeah, I'm just going to start with some of the key cards that we want to look out for on either side in this matchup. So let's start with the Oldhim side. So Oldhim needs to go hard and fast in this matchup, right? If they try and durdle, the Dromai will just get a board state that Oldhim eventually won't be able to deal with, and then they'll just crumble under the dragons. So the cards I'm looking at from the Oldhim side are cards like Zealous Belting and Rouse the Ancients in particular, because these are basically the only cards in Oldhim that let them go wide. So not only does this let them pressure the Dromai's life total by letting them do more damage than a Guardian usually does, but also, if they get in the spot where there is a problematic dragon on the field, like a Mirror Guy or something, they can clear that while also putting pressure on the face. So, Rouse the Ancients, Zealous Belting, very important cards I'm looking to see from the Oldhim side. And from the Dromai side. Now, this matchup is pretty tough for the Dromai, like compared to Prism, as far as Illusionists are concerned, because, well, Oldhim has poppers galore, right? The whole deck is full of poppers. So Dromai really needs to take advantage of their cards that let them go around poppers, like Chromai and Mirror Guy. Mm-hmm. But they can't just put them out one by one, because when you put them out one by one, they just get cleared, and then now your big threat is gone. So Dromai needs to try and pitch stack these cards in a way that they can put on multiple in the same turn and really put the Oldhim on the back foot from there. So key cards I'm looking at from Dromai are Chromai and Miragai.
In this game specifically, it might be hard to talk from like a non-biased like caster perspective because I was of course the Dromai, but you're absolutely right on pointing out that it's about the Dromai playing these cards that are good into Oldhim all at once, throwing out the Miragai on a turn here, a Chromai on a turn there. That doesn't actually provide that critical mass of ways to get over Guardian that just takes away the game all at once. Because Dromai is about the board state, right? It's you need the board state to get you ahead enough to have your sticky damage, have a way to actually get over Oldhim's defense and poppers and all that. So if you're playing things out turn by turn, it's just never going to work. That just plays right into the Oldhim's ability to just clear dragon with one card popping it, still swing at you directly, and he never has to make the choice of kill a dragon or kill you, right? So this game was actually like kind of an early foray for myself into the Oldhim matchup. I've been playing Dromai a lot, and I knew that general strategy, right? Of like, save triple Chromai Miragai, like just get that together at some point, consolidate it into the deck, so that you're able to just completely overwhelm all in one turn. Meanwhile, play out your early game to try to still stick those weird decision points on Flake where it's attack me or attack dragon, because you do need to buy enough life for you to actually get to your pitch stack, right? So that was the general plan. Yeah, also generate Ash, right?
Like Ash is difficult in this matchup on the Dromai side.
Yep. So this was like an early foray into the matchup. Like I said, I hadn't played it more than like maybe twice, and of course this is Flake, and we all know Flake has been streaming a ton, so I hope you all have checked it out because he's way more consistent than I am, because this is actually his job. I'm just kind of like toying around with this kind of stuff on the side, which is honestly insane. I never should have done this. So I'm so busy, but
some regret in your voice there, Ethan.
Yeah, you could say so. When I'm supposed to log like a 40-hour week, and then I realize I've like logged 20, and I'm like, oh my god, like what have I done? I do need money to live, right? Like that does have to happen.
It is hard, like juggling content creation with a full-time job. It is difficult. Do relate to that.
But it's still been fun. I think the other part that saps my time a lot is just playing Talishar when I like even have like a moment of free time. I'm like, oh, I'll play a Talishar game. That's what I need to stop doing. I need to actually spend my time better off with, I don't have free time. Let's, get another like 10 minutes of editing in. Or rather, I do have free time. Like, just keep doing that, piecemeal everything out so I don't feel so pressured. But anyway, we got the game in front of us, right? And I remember a lot about the chat on Flake's side because I didn't watch this live. I'm not going to stream snipe. But I went back and was reading through the chat just to see their POV. And I remember a lot of people commenting on that play about how bad it was because it's turn 0 and I just sacked double sink below, right? And I think my thought there initially was, I always snap and play those kinds of things. They attack me turn 0 because it means I can activate Furnace. That means, okay, cool. I actually played a red card. Let's get Furnace going so that I can just slam a dragon on my turn 1. So that was the line I was going for, right? And it did exactly work. Like it let me play Tumultai right here. But what do you think? Like, do you think a double sink below is like too premature? Is just from an outsider's perspective?
Yeah, so it's hard to say without knowing the full contents of your hand, right? So my first question is, was this Tumultai in your opening hand?
I believe it actually was, if I remember correctly. I think it was. I think it was.
So I think that changes things drastically because you want to resolve this early, and once you pop their Null Rune Boots, now your Burn Them Alls are just like kind of always leaking damage. That's also part of the end game that Dromai has against Oldhim, right? They want to resolve a Burn Them All with a bunch of dragons, and then Oldhim's in a really tough spot, especially if they don't have their Null Rune Boots. So, I mean, at first, if you didn't have this Tumultai, I was thinking maybe you could do one sink below, block with 2 other cards, and then pitch the other sink below to your Furnace. So you still get the 1 Ash, and you're still blocking out completely. But if you want to keep this Tumultai and resolve it, then yeah, the double sink below makes sense, and you use your other red to make an Ash so you can resolve the Tumultai immediately.
All right, someone's pointing out real quick that your camera is frozen. Let me fix that.
Nope.
Just keep on. That, yeah, I know why. It's because I freaking started a different window capture. Ugh. Okay. I'll do this.
Cool. Yeah. So So I'm guessing you didn't record this game from your side? Just
No, this was just like a random game I was playing. So I did not.
Cool. So Flake is doing, I mean, what he's supposed to do in this matchup, right? He's just putting on the pressure on you. Did he pop that tumult tie? I actually missed that.
Yes, he did. He
We were
did.
talking about the stream stuff. He popped it. Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And you took his crown. Interesting. I've seen some Dromais opt for the Nullrune boots over the crown. But I don't play Dromai enough to have a strong opinion on that. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, my thinking was I don't want yes, my end game is a lot plays a lot with burn them all, right? But that's actually like a playstyle I wasn't super confident in. I'm more confident in just a massive stack of dragons than being able to play like the double burn them all and tick them down that way, because that's how Jamie Faulkner recommends you play the burn them alls in this matchup, is play 2 at once to kind of overwhelm their null rune. And I only have 2 burn them all in the list, so I wasn't confident in being able to play the double out. So I kind of figured that I'd be spacing them one by one. So if I'm playing them one by one, then that means I'd rather get rid of their crown, because if they're pitching an entire card for like just null rune 1 block, that's pretty inefficient for them, right? So the crown in that playstyle is going to affect them more, because that hurts their ability to cycle. Maybe they get and go through and like bottom more poppers, right? And things like that. So I'm not entirely sure which is like better, but that was my thought process on that. Was I just knew I was less confident in playing the burn them all strat than playing the just like Moragai triple Chromai stack.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, good.
So,
I wasn't sure.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I mean, it also puts pressure on Flake. Like, I think a lot of the strength of Crown and Oldhim is that they can just freely arsenal their bad blues, right? Put a Winter's Grasp in there or something to diffused with or something, and then just crown it away later, so you don't need to ever play it. But once you take the crown, now they need to be like, oh, if I want to arsenal, it needs to be like a playable red. I can't just arsenal anything. So getting it like turn 1 of the game, basically, it does actually put a big burden on the Oldhim.
Yeah, for sure, because it really was that early, right? So speaking of impact, exactly that. Like, clearing the Null Rune boots isn't going to be felt until extremely late from a clear that early. But clearing the crown, you start feeling that potentially as early as Flake's turn 0, because he thought he'd have that open. But we're way past that now, but it is cool to think about one decision like that so deeply. I think it's one of the beauties of this game, right?
For sure.
So this is like what's been playing out so far is just a lot of pressure on Flake's end without my ability to land damage yet, because like we were saying, a lot of the damage comes from actual hands I'm crafting. I'm not really leaking much just willy-nilly with draw 4 play. Like, that's not what's getting me there. But I am getting to a point now where I've got enough sticky dragons that I'm trying to get in that position where he starts letting Ashwings through to clear the last dragon. But maybe I just don't swing the last dragon, right? And then that can always interrupt what their plan was. So in this situation, yeah, like I don't swing with Uvia. I think that's pretty obvious. Like you pretty much never swing with Uvia. But in a way, like you just always want to hold those bits of information, lead with Ashwings, try to leak damage.
Just building on what you talked about, like what's been happening so far, like why the life deficit happens in this matchup is that the Dromai is trying to start with a pitch stack, and to do that you actually do need to play a card and pitch a card either to furnace or pitch for the card that you play. So that means the Dromai can realistically only block with like 2 cards per hand while trying to like set up the pitch stack. Although Oldhim just needs to use 1 card to pop and stop your entire turn, and then come at you with the remaining 3 cards. So they are getting the life advantage over you, and you need to try and come back from that later on with this pitch stack that you've crafted.
Yep, and so far in the pitch stack, honestly, I wasn't paying attention to it yet, but I do know that last turn was like, I think it was like Rake Chromai. I didn't even glance at, honestly. This kind of pitch stack is even decent. It's not an aggressive pitch stack, but just being able to hold Sigil, right? Being able to hold Fate Foreseen. Those are really important pieces to play with as the game comes up late. Just having more block 4s to get around Pummel, having Sigils to turn 1 card hand into Go Wide with Dragons. Like, even those are quite relevant pitches.
Yeah, and Sigil kind of can bait your opponent into thinking they have like lethal with a dominate attack, which I think is the main way I've seen Guardians like lose this matchup, where, they have the life lead, like, it's towards the end of the game, they're like 20 life up on the Dromai, Dromai is like sub 10, and then they see a big dominate attack in their hand, and they're like, oh, I want to swing this at the Dromai. Dromai resolves a Chromai. And then the Guardian gets greedy and says, I'm not going to pop that so I can send this big dominate at you.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Dromai blocks it, plays their sigil, survives the dominate, and now the Guardian is so far behind because they resolve the second Chromai or the second Miragai. And then now the Guardian is just in a really, really bad spot. So I think pitching a sigil there is also great to see it come back around.
I think you might be predicting the future because situations like that do arise, and they're juicy from the Dromai side for sure.
Yeah. I feel like that's a mistake a Guardian player makes once and then never again.
Yep.
The prioritization, like this matchup for the Guardian side is priorities. Like there's 3 must-kill things on the board: Miragai, Chromai, and Passing Mirage. If those aren't on the field, you can just go face and pop everything else.
Mm-hmm.
But if those are on the field, you have to clear them. Doesn't matter how low the Dromai is because they run so many D-reacts. They have good armor. They have Sigil of Solace. You can't. It's very difficult to guarantee lethal. And if you leave them on the board, you get snowballed.
Yep. And there was a decision point. You talk about like the must-kill dragons. I think if we replay this, Flake would also change his decision at one point because he does throw 8 damage at an Uvia. And while that I think at the time like does feel like a really scary card, right? Like it's just constant Ash generation. In that situation, it was a waste of 2 damage on the Uvia when he's for sure probably going to be able to kill it with just like a 6-tack blue at some point, right? Because as this game goes on, like those little bits of damage he was able to leak through really add up because I need to be able to play with my life as a resource to hold the hands that I'm pitch stacking. So I remember in the game specifically when he threw 8 at Nuvia, I felt amazing about that because I wasn't sure I'd really get the value out of the Ash Wings for a long while with him just popping and then eventually clearing it. But anyway, I think in the first cycle, it is pretty standard to feel comfortable playing out double Miragai. I wasn't quite sure, but I did it at this point because I'd already played one. So there was a consideration here. Is it safe enough to go with just one Miragai in the pitch stack or play out the second one? And because I had enough Ash Wings at this point, I did try to just, put the Miragai out to at least protect them a bit more and see what happens with the rest of the board. But I'm not sure about that either. I don't play Dromai enough to know if you keep one Miragai or 2. But that was the feel.
Yeah. It is a tough matchup. I think from what I've heard it's a very tough hero to play, right? I think from what I've heard is that you kind of want to prioritize the 0 costs. So I think if you can set a pitch tag where you Chromai Passing Mirage or something, and it's also just really easy on your hand as well. You don't need to keep a card to pitch.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I'm not an expert on Dromai either.
Ooh, well, I wish I'd played more games in the meantime, but this was like one of the last games I played with Dromai before moving back to Levia for a bit. I felt so good about this game and some of the other games I played. I was like, yeah, I'm pretty done iterating on the deck, and if I do play it for PQs, I'll just get more reps in then, because the build itself was at a place where I felt pretty comfy. And one of the reasons I just am in love with this deck list, I think at the time I was running like 6 Dust Up. Dust Up has just become like my favorite card in Dromai. It's just such good value. 0 for 4, 3 block, threatening an Ash plus an Ash Wing. Either way, that tends to be like +1 value overall. So in a way, it's a 0 for 5, right? That's also an on-hit effect. The card has just been bonkers for me. Flake has equipment here to make the breakpoints not that threatening, but I also developed the Necri on this turn as well. So he's committing equipment to a minor hit effect while I also developed a 7 health dragon that hopefully, I don't really know at this point playing at double Miragai if I will get to swing it truly, but it's at least going to eat a card at some point, I guess.
Yeah. There was something I wanted to say about... What? Oh yes, Dust Up. Yeah, Dust Up feels like Dromai's version of Snatch.
Mm-hmm.
Like in terms of like how good it feels to like end your chain with it, or if you just have 1 card hand, you play a Dust Up. So.
Oh, it's incredible. I'm actually running Snatch as well. I tried all red, not in this matchup, but in my Dromai build overall. I've been trying, how much of the aggro package do you need to bring in to hopefully beat Fi? It's never going to be a great matchup for you, but the aggro redline Dromais can beat Fi. It's not better than like, I don't know, 50-50, if that, right? But what of that package makes it so much better? And what I figured was actually Snatch alone, pretty much. Because Snatch, when you're able to throw a breakpoint at 5, first of all, they don't really block it, right? So the hit effect is free for the most part, or if they sack equipment, amazing. The sack cards, even better. And if that Snatch is able to hit and draw like a dragon or like a red at all, anything you want in Arsenal, the percentage points of you winning that game go through the roof. Like, it's insane to just have, like a CNC in Arsenal now, like a Yandurai in Arsenal now, whatever it is, because then those enable your bigger hands that actually play really well into Fire, where you go like, 1 cost dragon, Furnace, CNC, like that kind of turn, right, is incredible into Ninja. And so the Snatch just helps you build those just a little bit better, or maybe even cheat in something bigger like a Necria for your 1 card hand to just be, blue Necria from Arsenal. So yeah, absolutely just love Snatch.
Yeah, and since your deck is so red line and low to the ground, you're very rarely going to brick on that Snatch. It's very unlikely to draw blue that you can't Arsenal. So what we're seeing here right now is exactly what we talked about earlier, where you spend some cards, you resolve your Necria, and then you have to spend like 2 to 3 cards to do that, and then you attack with it, and Flake just put a CNC in front of it, and then has 3 cards remaining to swing back at you. And now you need to block 2, and this cycle just keeps continuing, right? Which is why we've seen this 20 life deficit come up.
Oh yeah, the 20 life deficit is no joke at the moment. And I think that's what starts forcing my hand in these situations. I want to really set up the heavy Chromai stack, but where the life is right now, I don't feel comfortable really making it another, it won't even be 5 turns, right? We're looking at turn 10, turn 15 is pitch stack, but I definitely haven't concentrated the Chromais that much yet. I think I've only pitched like maybe 1. Here's my second one. So it's not like I'm waiting for turn 15 to have the God turn. And so because of that, I'm playing them out more aggressively here. Already have the Burn Them All, already have the Chromai. But Flake sees where the life is and makes that decision you were just talking about, where it's, well, he's at 13. Let's prioritize face. And to Flake's credit, there's a Pummel, there's a Zealous Belting. Like, it is a very aggressive hand he's able to throw at me, but the amount of room that is bought to block and still have a crazy board when you've got passing and Chromai out, and even a Time Snap in this position, by the way. Chromai let me drop a Time Snap passing on that turn. Just insane. Just insane.
And that's exactly that's exactly what we were talking about, right? Like he leaked 6 damage there, Chromai plus 3 Ashwings, and then you resolved passing Raj and Time Snap after that, and now the board state is really, really difficult. Like, yeah, you're at 4, but you can block with like 3 cards per hand. Just play 1 to give everything go again, and then come back at him for like 10, 12. Right? So yeah, here's that is the decision point, which I think Guardian player, like, they'll miss it once and then never again.
Yep, because in this position, if we look at what Flake could have done differently, you're absolutely right. Like, pop Chromai, play it more conservative still, just swing Hammer, clear passing, the board would look a lot different. I wouldn't have the Time Snap out, I wouldn't have Chromai, I wouldn't have passing. Time Snap would be an Arsenal, right? Because I wouldn't have the extra action point. And sure, my life would be 10 higher from this situation, but I'd have to almost start all over again at presenting a threatening board state. So, of course, from my position, this feels incredible, especially when you start stacking the lose Phantasm effects on a Chromai. That just becomes 2 action points if you played a red. In this situation, I haven't played red. The Chromai is just going to give me the 1 more swing here. But that's what starts getting really dangerous. Into Guardian, if you can just swing Chromai with Gogan, that's 2 action points. It gets around poppers really, really well. Oh, did I actually play another Chromai? I can't tell because we can't manipulate the scroll bar. But maybe I did play another Chromai this turn. That's crazy.
Yeah.
There we go.
And what you said about sort of resetting the board state if the Chromai gets popped. And he's actually also done a really good job of pitching poppers. Like, he has been keeping his poppers in his deck, which is the other thing the Guardian also needs to do. Because, if you are setting up Chromais for your second cycle, they need to have poppers for the second cycle. And he has been doing that. So resetting the board state just puts all the difficulty back on the Dromai, because the Guardian is comfortable. They're like, yeah, we're reaching second cycle, but I've been pitching poppers, so I'm still going to be able to deal with your stuff if you keep playing them out 1 by 1 instead of playing them 3 at a time. So
Yeah, and the only counter to just continuous pitch stacking and poppers becomes pretty obvious. Like, it's just the ghostly touch at that point. Like, if you don't line up your second cycle well enough because the Guardian player's also been doing that, then you fall back to, okay, like super late, let's just save like that last passing, that Mage Master Boots for our ghostly touch. And like that becomes the last attempt at a win. I'm not running Remembrance, so any kind of reshuffling of Chrome Eyes is out of the question here. It's really just that, the passing play. And my passing is not even, or the ghostly touch rather, is not even that threatening as of now, because I've just haven't had the driver's seat to just play dragons, him pop dragons, him clear dragons. It's been mostly him throwing face. I play what dragons I can at all, and he's at the point now where he basically stopped popping dragons. So if somehow he was to claw back into this, ghostly touch just probably wouldn't be big enough anyway to be that last late game seal I need. But the board state is to the point where I'm not really worried about that win con anymore. The win con is going to come from something with the board as it is now.
Exactly. Yeah, and you can be at 3, but yeah, like we talked about, you can use your almost entire hand to block. Like, your hand isn't for damage anymore. Your board's for damage. You just need one card to give everything go again. So we start to see the snowball happening.
And you can see Flake at this point. I think he just rolled his eyes as well, because it can get out of hand. Now, one of the things to notice as the Dromai player and as someone against the Dromai is to pay attention to, I believe the term is almost the ghost stack, which is what Noah Dark Odious was calling it when he was teaching me Dromai, where Dromai cares so much about the sequence of her cards, like where are her zeros, where are her ones, where are her threes, that kind of thing, that you should be constantly tracking the draws themselves so that you can better guess if, like, where the concentration is in the rest of your deck, right? So if I've drawn up and at this point seen like no Asvali's and it's turn 13, then I know I'm seeing triple Asvali in 2 hands, right? And that's a huge part of being able to play Dromai and find your openings, because the cost of your dragons becomes so relevant. Being able to play either with your Ash build up a ton of zeros, or needing to keep 2 card hands and maybe a weird spot just to play a 1 cost or a 3 cost, that kind of thing. This, of course, is another blowout just to begin with, by the way.
This is again the sort of thing where, Guardian player gets greedy. They're like, no, I have lethal, especially with this pummel. They need to have the D-React. And it's like, they have the D-React, or they have the Sigil of Solace. And then what's your out, right?
Yep. Yep.
What are you talking about, the ghost stack? Yeah, that's actually, I've never heard that term before, but that idea is definitely very, very relevant for many heroes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think in Iyslander as well, like, just keeping track of your threat density in the deck. Because Iyslander doesn't run that many reds, right? So you need to make sure that when you're keeping track of how many red cards you still have left in your deck to actually send damage at your opponent. And yeah, like what you said in Dromai, the 0 costs.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it's a great term. I mean, threat density is one way to look at it, but if you call it ghost stack, then that's like a very fab specific way to phrase it, I think. So I'm trying to go with that. I like it.
Yeah, I do like that. And it's also more general ghost stack, because it can be the threats, or it can be a 0 cost, so it can be just whatever else.
Yeah, for sure. And now that we saw all the game actions being taken this turn and where the life ended up, it just looks, I mean, obviously over, right? There's just too many threats on board at all. But I remember Flake saying from this spot, like, oh, if only the pummel hit or this, that, whatever. Well, I had, like, drawing the Fate for Scene specifically there was lucky enough to just, like, totally seal. But I did have the Sigil and Arsenal for that specific kind of late game situation. That was part of the ghost stack that we're talking about, where I knew I still had a Sigil coming. Like, obviously at this point, we're almost through our first cycle. So the priority always was Sigil and Arsenal, Sigil and Arsenal. And I think I got that like 2 or 3 turns ago. And of course, I'm not going to show it unless it adds value in like a pummel type situation, or if I need to turn on my board with 0 cards in hand. So yeah, the Fate was like the blowout, but I did already plan for Sigil, like to counteract that kind of thing. Just so totally people don't call it like lucky, right?
Yep. That's actually a trick people use against Wizard too. Like back earlier in the day in Blitz, when Ira was running sigils and stuff, just like park a sigil in their arsenal, empty their hand, and the Wizard goes, "Oh my god, I might have lethal," and they go for it and go in response sigil.
Yep.
And the Wizard just gets completely blown out.
Yeah, I love doing that in
I really
Blitz.
enjoy that play.
Yeah, and more than anything, like when I was running Sigil a lot in Blitz Levia, just to try to buy more time for Husk to actually be used on like a 6 damage swing, which by the way is like, when it works out, it's amazing. But when you draw Sigils after a Blood Rush, they're trash. So I'm still like kind of torn. But yeah, against like Kano specifically, that was always the gotcha, where they think they have perfect math, and then you Sigil. Oh, it felt so nice, because then you just kill the Kano, and everyone wants to kill Kano, right? But that was yeah. As far as like games that I wanted to show, that's just one that I've been waiting to talk about for a while. So figured it might be interesting
really
enough to pop up on screen. And yeah, that's cool. I think, playing it again, it would never look the same, because Flake would change his play on that Dromai burn them all turn for sure.
Yeah.
But
and just a comment at the end about the pummel, right? I think one of the beautiful things about Fab is that typically, like, a lot of times you can trace like where the game like went downhill, and it's a lot earlier than like where you actually thought. So it wasn't that pummel turn, right? At that point, the game was already kind of locked up, as you said. It was like 5 turns ago where the Dromai wasn't dealt with. And that's part of the reason why I really enjoy like doing gameplay analysis and looking back at replays, because you get to catch these things. Like where you think, oh no, if only this turn towards the end played out differently, but no, it was actually, you could have done something different 5 turns ago, and that would have changed the course of the game like massively.
Exactly, because I'm pretty sure the snap comment was like, of course there's a fate, or that kind of thing, right? Because at this point, the Hail Mary win is the pummel. But exactly that, like, go back and assess, like, 6 turns previous or whatever it was, and really that's where you had to make the Hail Mary because of that decision so long ago.
Yep.
So yeah, really, really cool. Thanks for your insight on that game as well, because this was just a really interesting one overall. Obviously I knew my POV at the time, and then the fact that Flake was streaming it was also really cool, because then I could do, a proper analysis like we just did. So pretty sick.
Really good. Thank you.
But yeah, so in theory, right, I think when we jump to the stream this weekend, just in terms of like roles, one of the reasons I asked you, well, for one, you won the Clash series, so you needed some kind of prize that was just beyond sleeves. But also your analysis is just like legendary for those in the community who seek it out and care about it. I mean, I really think you're the best. So
thank you.
In
so much.
building, oh, come on. You should know at this point. Toss the humility to the side. You're really the best. So in the whole line of making this battle hardened the best it could be, yeah, it'd be fine for me and Alex to just do our thing again. But we are more of like a casual take. I mean, for me, just to be able to show up on the day, it's such a relief. Like, it means everything worked. It means I can just like kick back. People are going to enjoy it just because of how it is visually, because like I'm going to do what I'm doing, rope in like the players, do the interviews, that kind of thing. So I really wanted to search for somebody who would bring the analysis and make sure that they're tuning in and bringing out the specifics of like every single game and making that more interesting, because there's a good chance that I'm just like on cloud 9, like from start at 9 a.m. just because like things haven't crashed.
I mean, you deserve it. The amount of effort you've put in the prep, yeah, you definitely deserve it.
Thank you. So I'm really looking forward to Saturday. It's going to be so much fun. And then of course the ProQuest itself. Oh, I mean, my bets are on probably like a name that we're aware of to win. Both the Battle Hardened and ProQuest. That area is really competitive. I mean, New Jersey brings in like all the team runaways. I think like even Brody from Texas is flying in because he's just an EXP fiend, right? A lot of people from Massachusetts. Yeah. Oh, you want a story on Brody? Check this out. There is a singular ProQuest on a Wednesday in the entire US. Just one on a Wednesday in the entire US, because that's weird. Right? Like, that is just weird. Like, why is there a ProQuest on Wednesday? Whatever. Brody is flying out to play in that ProQuest just because it maximizes the EXP he can gain. Whether he wins it or not, it is the most EXP he can gain on that Wednesday, so he is going. How crazy is that? Like,
some serious dedication, honestly.
That's incredible. Yep. Like, I'm so jealous of that kind of position, because when I was younger, like, I played X-Wing a lot and would travel as much as I could. But in X-Wing, you never really won like cash prizing. So it was hard to, especially as a kid, turn in like your physical winnings, like templates and dice and that kind of thing, into money to fund more events. I would do that when I could. But for Brody getting into Flesh and Blood, I mean, yeah, he's like 17 right now or something, but he's winning money. And so you can just spend that money on a ticket. And like, it's just so much straightforward, so much more linear for a kid as good as him to just keep going and get deeper and deeper. And I mean, hell, if he's got the time, like, why not, right? So really,
Definitely.
yeah, like, no knocks on that kid. He's amazing. Really, like, kudos to him.
Yeah, also the promos, right? I think last I heard he has like 3 cold foil Icelanders because of the number of pro quests he won. Or was it RTNs?
Those were
that was
RTNs.
given out.
Yeah.
Those are RTNs, yeah. Like just sitting on 3 of them, and yeah, you can just sell some of them that pays your flight ticket for the next one, where you're just gonna win it again, right?
Whoa, hold up there, buddy. Hold up there, buddy. In terms
This
of
is Brody we're talking about.
Brody's good, all right, but he's not. He still is like a fiend for just learning. Like, I think he almost, like, when he takes a loss, he loves it because he'll dive into that game with you and pick it apart and figure out like why you lost, and he'll play that losing matchup like 20 times over. So I think if Brody just keeps winning, he's actually like not getting better. So I almost hope that he gets knocked down a couple times here and there, because that's how he really like gets a reminder of like, oh my God, I need to jump in and learn. He doesn't complain. Like, he really doesn't. He doesn't sit back and go, oh my God, high roll this, high roll that. Like, that is the just complete opposite attitude of that kid. So I do wish him well. I hope he wins a lot, but I hope he takes losses as well. All right. Like, just to be clear, because then he'll win worlds. If he loses now, he'll win worlds later. And that's how we want it to go. Right.
Yep, jump back harder, stronger.
But hey, do you want to just play a game on Talshar? We can do this. I've got like about an extra hour here. I didn't have another game in the queue, but this should be fun anyway. Play
one, or do you just want to like cast a random game on Talshar as like a?
Sure,
I feel like just now we were doing more of a high level. You know, we weren't really talking about the play-by-play that was happening.
Sure. That's fair.
In general, so if we want to try just cast a random game.
Let's see. Let's find one that is early in the match, and also meta relevant. Not this one.
You see Katsu, you're like,
I was like, wait, what I click on? Let's see. Where are we on this? No, kind of mid game. Bravo Iyslander. Turn 3. Yeah, this looks fine. We'll jump into this then. All right. Well, you're someone who plays Iyslander a lot, so why don't you take us away on this matchup?
All right. So. Life totals are even right now, and the Iyslander already has an Insidious Chill setup, so they're in a very good spot. This matchup can be tough for the Iyslander. It really depends on how aggressive the Bravo's hands line up to be. If they get their multiple Rouses, multiple Zealous's, multiple Pummels, it can be really difficult for Iyslander to get a footing in the game. But once they do get that footing, like what we see here with Insidious Chill and an Ice Vein, that's when they can, sort of play the game that they want to play, like a better mid-range game than what Bravo can do.
Yeah, so this is we're seeing already. Coming from someone who doesn't play this matchup a lot, I thought there is a strategy here where Bravo is able to take a bunch of Null Rune and Sledge. Is that not something that's really viable into Iyslander? You just need to play more aggressive than tanking them out.
So I think Anathos is kind of just better than Sledge.
Okay.
Because if you have the pitch for it, if the pitch for Sledge, you can just like under pitch and pitch to Anathos, and then you're coming in for 6 anyway, as if it was a Sledge. Mm-hmm. But if you don't, Anathos still has a fallback of coming in for 4, right? But I think where I disagree with Bravo here is the chess piece. I think they should have brought Tunic.
That's right.
Pay for the extra frostbite, and also you kind of never make a seismic surge because it gives your opponent a priority window.
Actually, two priority windows, right? On destruction and on cast itself. So you definitely don't want to do that.
And here's where what we just talked about, the Sledge thing. The Bravo pitch 4 and Anathos coming in for 6, as if this was a Sledge. But it has a fallback of coming in for 4.
Right. So for the Bravo to really be able to deal enough damage to actually win out this game, you'd think a lot of what they need to land damage with would be pummels and dominates, because the Iyslander, if they're going for like a setup kill, not every hand needs to be a full keep, right? Like they can just cycle through Frost Hexes, Insidious, and build up that way. And it looks like that's what the Iyslander is going for. Is that better than playing, like you were saying early on, like more mid-range, where they do trade more and throw like red arcane spells, waning moon, that kind of thing?
So this really depends on how the Bravo is playing, and that's one of the strengths of Iyslander, right? Iyslander can adapt to what the opponent's trying to do. So we saw earlier the Bravo played a Blue Steadfast, which was simply amazing. Like I've never seen the card in CC, but they played a Blue Steadfast, and
Yeah, right here.
when you see cards like this on the Guardian side, you sort of get in the mentality of, oh, they want to play the longer game, so then I need to pivot and then start setting up some Frost X's. You know, typically 2 is enough, unless they're going really full-out defensive. So I think the Iyslander is adapting to that, which is a very good call by them.
Yeah, definitely. Because there is that issue, right, where you can't actually ever tank out Icelander's arcane damage. If they're throwing, 5 on their turn, like 7 on your own turn, you can't, like, pitch enough to really fatigue it out. Is that right? Like, because at some point, the turn cycles will end up where, if you're pitching on the Icelander's turn, then on your turn, you don't have enough cards in hand for them to actually land the arcane on that front. So I've someone who hasn't played Bravo into them. I can't really speak for like how Bravo players prefer to do it, but it's always been interesting to me because you're right. The Iyslander can just adapt, like whatever the Bravo tries to do to play around one star or the other. The Iyslander is that kind of deck that can just, start playing a different way. There's different ways for this deck to win. And the Frost X way is kind of the most BS, like whatever, but it's really cool if it gets set up. It is.
Yeah, the Frost X way is kind of ridiculous, right? Here's an Ice Vein on my turn. I've ripped the entire hand because of my chills and amulets. Your turn, you have nothing? All right, here's like a 20 damage Ice Eternal.
Yep.
All right, good game.
Wow. But look at this block here, actually. So an E-Strike came in, which is not a hit effect, right? It's just going to be just pretty decent. 2 cards for 7 damage. And Bravo tossed 2 red pummel in front of it. That, at the time, right, you might assess that and feel like, okay, this hand is bad. Like, these pummels don't do anything with what I can afford to pitch. But throwing them away means every time Iyslander checks that graveyard, she is 2 insane threats removed, like just out of consideration to ever play around. 2 red pummels gone like that. So I don't know, like I almost feel like that's the kind of situation you end up taking a bit more damage just to conserve threat, especially since the Iyslander is looking to play a slower game by the looks of it with this Insidious Chill and Frost X.
I think I agree with that, especially when you also consider that Iyslander has, I believe, spent 2 Sync Pillows already, and most Icelanders are only running 3 Sync Pillows, so them like not having that in the second cycle to combat your pummel can make their math very, very difficult, right? Because they don't want to overblock and attack the player on pummel, but at the same time they don't want to get hit by a pummel because that completely messes up their hands. Because as much as Iyslander likes to put disruption on their opponent, they are actually very vulnerable to disruption themselves, right? You look at either Ice Vein, that's a 3-card hand that you have to keep. You get pummeled on that, and now your hand is what, just Coronet Peak, maybe Arsenal to Ice Vein? So I think conserving those pummels is a very good idea in this matchup. Speaking
of the Aether Ice Veins, there have been 4 played out, and normally they're running 2 yellow, sometimes a 3rd flex yellow, definitely the 3 reds. Right, so in terms of the Bravo, if they checked this and saw how much tall arcane, the disruptive arcane is gone, then I think that really does factor into the decision of, wow, like I can be greedier then. Like I have more room to keep pummels because they're not just going to continuously Ice Vein me indefinitely. Like it's just not going to happen at this point already. So
that's very good point.
Yeah, it's something that normally comes up on Talishar where people are just clicking a lot. They're playing hand by hand rather than for a long game, because at the end of the day, like these games don't matter, right? Like there's no ladder. Sure, there's a win rate attached to your deck link, I guess. But for the most part, it's just, let me like make a optimal 4-card play. But to really see someone play a long game is almost annoying on Talishar because you don't want to queue into something that might take like an hour, right? So maybe that's part of it, like not to really knock on these guys.
So we see a Coronet Peak from the Iyslander here. Yep, they did a Cold Snap on the Bravo's turn. I think leaked in like 1 damage of the Waning Moon. Just Coronet Peak. Just that piece of equipment is just so amazing for the way Iyslander wants to play. It just gives them so much flexibility.
Yeah, and scalability as well, right? You just mentioned how pummel can disrupt that. One of the things that they can then fall back on, because so much of their deck is blue anyway, they're likely keeping a blue to pay for something or to put in arsenal. Well, if that gets disrupted, Coronet's always an option. And luckily, against Levia, most Icelanders have stopped using Coronet. Because first of all, they're scared first and foremost of like Beast Within. But I don't know, man. I still hate it with Levia. If you are Coroneting me every turn, then I don't get to really ever have like a 4-card off the top Blood Rush. Like that's never going to happen, right? Yes, I get some graveyard fill going, which can be really impactful. And yes, Levia does like 3-card hands a lot. But if you're constantly stuck in that loop, but then also having to pay for attacks, then a 3-card hand isn't really a 3-card hand, and you never really get to reset Arsenal, right? So I still hate Coronet. So pro tip to the Icelanders out there, like it is still pretty damn good into Levia. But hey, if you don't want to play it into me, I'll also take that.
I think against any deck that sort of has like tries to play for like one big power turn, like Viscerai with their Moderate Tide Rebels, or Fire with Art of War Spreading Flames, Brutes with Blood Rush Bellow, like yeah, the Coronet Peak, just taking that 5th card away from them actually saves you so much life.
We have a question in the chat here about Icelanders, so maybe we can help. What has the most value for Iyslander? 2 yellow Fighting Spirits, 2 CNCs, or 2 Erase Face? I'm trying to decide cards 79 and 80.
So, go on.
Oh, yeah, that's an interesting question to begin with, because you normally just don't see those at all. They would normally fight for spots that can go to the better value attacks, like Wounded Bull, Enlightened Strike, Red Findle's Fighting Spirit. So if you're adding these specifically because like there's a lot of Dromai in your meta or something, or maybe you just want to tech like Erase Faces a bit more against Dash or something, I think you're already on your way to answering that question for yourself. Then if you're bringing those in because of a Dromai or a Dash, then let those fuel your decision, because out of all those, they probably just don't make the cut anyway. Would be my tip.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Just for me personally, I'm very partial to CNC. I really like that card, especially with how the Fire matchup has actually become more even than you would think it is on paper. I think CNC into them, to me, feels a lot better than throwing a Wounded Bull at them. But that is also definitely part of my bias. I've been running CNC in Iyslander since I brewed the deck, and I haven't let go of it.
Oh, well, so then if you're asking EthnicSmoke, he wants you to spend $200 on 2 CNCs. I get it. But it looks like
you got me. Yeah.
Yeah, or 800. My goodness, those Marvels. I've still never seen one in person, but we'll see. If I win a lottery one day, we're definitely blinging out. But they followed up here. Poppers, Dash, and Vis meta is what they're mentioning. So I think then that answers your question. Erase Face would be the best. If that's in particular why you're bringing it, because the 2 defense value shouldn't matter against Dromai, it's just a popper, right? Dash, Erase Face is massive, plus they run Crown, so CNC wouldn't get good value. And then Viscerai also runs Crown, and also gets stopped by Erase Face. So next question, foils or Marvels? Well, there are no Marvels Erase Faces yet, but...
Okay, so very interesting. Okay, so we see Iyslander Anathos being coming in here for 7 dominate, and yeah, here's where we talked about the lack of sync belows like left in the Icelanders deck. Like they've already used 2. They have a sync below for this, so they're using Coronet Peak. This is still pretty early on as far as life totals go, so not having access to that for the rest of the game can be pretty tricky for the Iyslander, because one of the things Coronet Peak does in this matchup is it really buys you a decent amount of breathing room against Bravo as well, because of what we talked about, like those pummels. But then again, now we've seen that there's 2 pummels in the graveyard, so maybe the Iyslander feels comfortable getting rid of that.
Yeah, also mentioning the Iyslander just in general, they still are running Brain Freeze. Is that standard just because it's a blue block 3, or do you normally see this sided out?
So it depends on the configuration of the rest of the deck, since they are running like Wounded Bulls, and we haven't seen any scars, but like Wounded Bulls. Oh, and there's a Winter's Bite.
Yeah, Winter's Bite too. It's interesting.
Yeah, I don't think it's... I think it's totally fine to bring a 3 block in.
Okay.
Yeah. Something like Bravo and Oldhim.
Yeah, that makes sense. Sideboarding Iyslander just felt a little odd because almost every card was so good when I was playing Iyslander last week. I was like, man, are you sure I'm taking out Cold Snap and Polar Blast? Well, I guess they're not the best play from Arsenal. They're a good play, but they're not the best play. And starting to cut cards like that just feels insane because they're still so good. So I was definitely having trouble with that overall. But I think we do know the deck is at 60 cards here. They didn't go over. So they did specifically want to run those.
So interestingly, we actually saw, this is a few turns ago, but the Iyslander blocked their last red Aether Ice Vein.
Oh.
So there's 3 red Aether Ice Veins in there and 2 yellows. And And here's where the one thing Iyslander needs to manage is the Insidious Chill, right? We see 2 Insidious Chills on the board, one with 3 charges, one with 2 charges, but there's maybe only 1 yellow Ice Vein left in the deck. So this might be a situation where the Iyslander doesn't manage to get full value from these chills. And that's where one of the key decision points about Iyslander is setting up that second Insidious Chill. Like, do you do it? Like, are you able to get value from it based on the number of turns realistically left in the game and the number of fuse effects that you have in your deck?
Yeah, it's also, well, here comes a blue, but it is awkward overall because it's not like you're really saving all these triggers for Ice Eternal specifically. That's going to be the kill turn more than anything. Yeah, I mean, at least there is value coming out then with this blue Aether Ice Vein. Just a bit of attacks, not necessarily damage leaking through. It's going to depend a lot on whether or not the Iyslander can arsenal big damage here, because that would be great for this turn cycle. Even though the Aether Ice Vein won't land itself, stacking chills like this is likely to get rid of 2 cards, right, into the Bravo, maybe pitching a third on the Aether itself. Then a 1-card hand probably swings in the Nothos, and Iyslander just slams, potentially like 7 damage right at them. So that's still a good turn cycle out of him, just depending on this arsenal.
Yeah, I think Winter's Bite was revealed to the.
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't even see. Okay. Oh, well, yeah, so it's not going to be that big damage turn.
It'll be a Moon plus the Frostbite from Frostex.
Yep.
So that's 4 damage. It's not bad. It could have been, it could have potentially been like another Frostex as well, which would be interesting. Although with the Bravo already at 16, I guess it's more of a seal the deal sort of thing.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how the endgame's navigated. I'm pretty interested at this point because you're right. Like tossing the Aether Ice Veins like that almost makes you think the Iyslander is thinking, "Oh, I just win the endgame. I just win the endgame." Because if you're not playing these out, then you have to have a really good plan for how you actually win the game. And yet the combo itself has been slowed down here. There's only the 1 Frostex out. You still looking to get a second one, and then ideally like an amulet, right? You're looking for, is it normally like triple discard for the big kill turn?
It depends on the color of the Ice Vein. If you have a blue Ice Vein, because that's just, they just pitch a blue, it's like the same as an extra amulet. And it depends how many chill triggers you have left. Because if you have plenty of chill triggers, it doesn't really matter. Because you can blue Ice Vein, and when you fuse the Ice Eternal on their turn, your chills just trigger again and just.
True.
If you didn't get all of it. So okay, and here we see a Frostex being pitched by the Iyslander. So it seems like they're pivoting away. They're saying that they have enough setup to get to the end game, which even stuff with blue Ice Veins and followed up by an Emeritus and Arsenal, like what you were saying just now, about 7 damage on the Bravo's turn when their hand's empty. Yeah, stuff like that can definitely get them there. And the life totals also kind of speak towards that potentially being the case here.
Wow, yeah, these kind of decision points, they're always so tough to watch because these 2-card hands for 7 or 8 value are so low effort from the Iyslander, right? Like there's no opportunity to even tax them. It's always just the 2 cards. And to just eat that damage for such a low effort play on the Iyslander side feels so bad. I mean, not like you have too many choices around it. Like in this situation, it's really just giving up your spinal turn to probably just swing a Nothos and that's it. But at the same time, like you just ate 6 for the Iyslander keeping 2. Oh man, like I hate that Iyslander plays cards like this, honestly. They're so gross.
It definitely does get pretty frustrating.
Yeah.
Also, we see the 3rd Frostex being pitched, and at this point with the Bravo like eating all the damage and coming down to 7, yeah, that totally makes sense. You're not gonna get value from that. And yeah, the Bravo ate all that damage, so the pummel was being smelt there. And we see that come out there, and we see the Iyslander block with their final yellow Ice Vein. So no more yellow Ice Veins, all red Ice Veins left in the deck, just 2 blues.
It's still a really scary life threshold. They're not above the Iyslander in the life trade here. And yes, they did make them discard, but a 1-card hand is always an arsenal. The Coronet wasn't there, so in a way, like if the pummel didn't come through, then that 2-card hand was probably an attack, but a 1-card hand is still an arsenal. Like Iyslander loves all that kind of scaling. And the Bravo is now the one that if they ever show their resources spent the wrong way, like potentially on an imposing visage, then Storm Striders plus Arsenal plus Waning, that will be 7 damage at some point.
Yes. We haven't seen Emeritus yet in this Iyslander list, so we're curious to know if they're running it. Because one one actually sort of like drawback of this Bullander list is that sometimes you don't have a good arcane target for your Stormstrider's play. And we have seen them use all their red and yellow Ice Veins already.
Yep.
And this doesn't run Aether Hail's Ice Bolts. So the Stormstrider's value is a little affected from that deck list. And we haven't seen Emeritus yet, like we said. So it might be that the best thing they can do with the Stormtriders is like a blue Ice Bolt, which is still really good when your opponent's empty their hand. But it is something to keep in mind.
Yeah, this is exactly what we talked about on the Pummel Disruption. It was a 2-card hand they were hoping to keep, but that's still, that value on Findles still comes from just being able to play it out of Arsenal here. It doesn't look like they're going to be super card efficient on this because the Bravo basically passed that last turn, and without a non-attacking Arsenal, there was nothing to do to really trigger Waning Moon. So yeah, sure enough, a 3-card hand just gets passed over into Arsenal, but Bravo's still 8-2. Like even for a bad rate hand that Iyslander just threw, dealing 2 feels really good, right? Like,
and that is one of the weaknesses of Iyslander, right? Like they didn't really have much go again in the deck. They struggle with using big hands. Especially if they don't have the blue in Arsenal. If they have a big hand, opponent passes, what they want to do is play the blue in their Waning Moon, so they can actually, sort of cheat some action points, because, playing at instant speed. And when they don't have that, we saw the 5-card hand, it was just 7 damage, which is it's a really bad rate when you think about it.
Oh, it's awful. But squeaking 2 in, we'll see if it was a good call, because it looks like the Bravo was trying to force this crippling, right? But what this shows is at the most that's a blue left over, right? Which they do just pitch now. So if the Iyslander is able to then just deal, what were they at? 5? So if they can deal 8, they do just win off this. They threw an Emeritus, which is 4, 5, 6, 7. So this needs to be an Ice Bolt in Arsenal, and they win. But if not, this was just kind of odd all around.
Yeah, has the Bravo already used that blue to block?
Yes, they pitched it in on the Emeritus.
I see. So that Arsenal could it just be a frosting? Because I don't think Waning Moon has been used yet, has it?
It has
that was
not.
done from Striders.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So it could really just be a frosting and the game's over. But if not, yeah, this could have been a premature Stormstriders.
Oh yes, frosting, not frostbolt. You're right. Yes.
Yeah. Which, if this is a premature Stormstriders usage, that is kind of what spells doom for the wizard. That's like one of the first life lessons you learn as a wizard. It's like the game where you use the Stormstriders too early is the game you lose. Like, if the Stormstriders doesn't win you the game, you're screwed.
Well, I feel like the Iyslander would. I mean, this is a bit of BM if they just don't have lethal yet.
Okay. Yeah, that was a sync below.
It's a sync, so it's not lethal ever. Wow, that's just really odd to throw it out that way. I guess it is free damage, but it's not game-winning damage as of yet.
Yes.
So we'll see. They gave up Tunic. Tunic had a counter on it at that point, so we're just saying goodbye to the full equipment suite on the Iyslander side, and this one card just gets tossed in Arsenal. But in a way, like with all the Aethers gone, maybe Bravo has a way to start trying to just tank through the end game, like without having to worry about Stormstriders now.
Potentially.
I don't know.
I think so. I do think it's somewhat realistic that they might have that out here. Although the Insidious Chills is just the only thing that might be a little scary, because now Ice Eternals are actually just a very viable threat. So sort of a way Iyslander can sort of go tall, they just pitch a bunch of blues to it. We did see Emeritus come out from the Stormstriders play. So we know this Iyslander is running them. I believe that's the first one we've seen.
Yeah, I mean, that is just really scary for the Bravo to see overall, though, because an Emeritus in Arsenal now means 1 blue doesn't save them. Because the Waning Moon plus that, right, 7. So they do need to always hold more than a blue, in theory, to be able to play around that indefinitely. But with that 1 Insidious counter still on this guy, that last Ice Eternal might do it. With only 1 Frost-Hex, Ice Eternal deals. Well, these would tick first. I'm not going to do the quick math, honestly, but for whatever reason, it still feels queasy to me. That I'm not sure the Ice Eternal does it here. You would know better than I.
Yeah. So I think maybe the most straightforward line this Iyslander has would be a blue Ice Vein on their turn to Arsenal, like kind of like any blue damaging spell, like an Ice Bolt or a blue Emeritus, would be a pretty easy line, because the blue Ice Vein on the Icelander's turn will, with the 2 Insidious Chills, will rip 3 cards from the Bravo. So the Animals have 1 blue on their turn. The Emeritus will do it. Even the Ice Bolt will do it because of the Frostbite it generates, and then the Frost-Hex will take it down. that last.
Well, the Iyslander has all the room to go for those, right? Because if you look at the cards used now, that is all 3 pummels. That one red pummel came out and dealt good value there. These 2 were used to block, and what that unfortunately means now is the Iyslander never is scared of even that swing and Nothos 2 cards in hand play. Like, you just don't have to worry about the pump 6. That's gotta be a huge relief on the Iyslander side, because that kind of endgame just always hurts playing into Bravo.
Definitely. And we also, okay, we just saw was that the last blue Ice Vein being used to block?
Oh, last blue Ice Vein, let's do a count. We've got 1, 2, there's 1 left.
Okay,
There's
so
one
that
left.
was the second blue Ice Vein being used.
Second
Okay.
blue, yep.
Yeah, and then it came in the frosting, and it didn't leak anything because Bravo still had cards in hand.
Mm-hmm.
So that could have been probably just to clear the arsenal and put something better in there than a blue frosting.
All right, we'll see. In a situation like this, I hope the Bravo doesn't just leak 2 again. There you go. Okay, yep. Gonna go ahead, pitch for that full staunch. Very smart. In these kind of situations, unless that is the Emeritus, right? This is a situation where you just swing a Nothos, and that's it. Maybe you even just pass. That's
Yeah,
also
it might be
probably
just
okay,
pass
right?
priority.
Just pass priority.
Because if you swing Anothos, then Ice Bolt or Emeritus just kills you.
Yep.
Because all you at most have 1 blue, so it might be just pass priority. Let's see if they do that.
Mm-hmm.
And we did see the Iyslander just clear the arsenal. They just played a blue frosting the previous turn. So, maybe there's a decent chance they would just try and replace it with something better.
Yeah,
So this
I
is a
would
very
fear.
risky Anothos swing.
Yeah, well, especially the Emeritus only seeing 1 of them so far. I would really fear that because this is the last full hand of the deck, right? So if they're running, we didn't track pitch on that, but if they just hadn't seen Emeritus and they're running 3 of them, then they definitely saw Emeritus on that last hand. Which is actually, speaking to these turn counters, one of the reasons I really am excited to add this to our commentary on Saturday. I think being able to track the turn is going to add so much but look at that. What do we say?
There we go.
What do we say?
You called it.
Yep.
You called it.
aided a lot though by the ability to count turns. I think that is going to be just massive as value
I
add.
agree.
Yep.
Actually, things like sometimes when I'm in the game, I wish I had a turn counter. Like when I'm playing, I'm like,
Right.
wait, how many more turns do I see my pitch deck? I forgot what turn are we on.
I do get
Definitely
worried
should follow
sometimes.
that.
Oh, so GG's to both players, by the way, but I do get worried sometimes about the turn counter thing because I see some people when they take notes, when they're like writing down their life totals, they might like leave a dot or something, and you're not supposed to keep notes
Yeah.
during the game, right? So if you're like writing a life total and like leaving a dot, I mean, to most people, like, is it a period? I don't know what it is, whatever, not a big deal. But if you're doing that with intent, what is the intent, right? Like, is it you tracking turns? Is it you like leaving a dot when the turn passed so you can like at a glance count the turns? Like, I don't know. I've seen people do it. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan at all.
That's not allowed. Yeah.
No, it's not allowed. Well, if
That
that's what they're
feels
doing
sussy.
with it, if that's what they're using it for, like it might just be, like just a tick, like you're writing something down, you tap your pen, leaves a dot, whatever. But anyway, don't do this, by the way. Don't other people hear that and start thinking to do that. Just no, let's keep the game fair. I almost prefer we just move over to digital app with a record keeper is pretty decent. I mean, it can get a bit messy with like misclicks or whatever, but I think ideally that's where we move to just as a standard. But
I am worried though. Once you go to like digital, like the next step is someone modding in like a pitch stack tracker. You know what I'm saying? Like I almost want you can just do that easily on TheRelaxed, right? When you're playing, like already.
yeah.
Like, just have something that's tracking what the bottom of your deck look like, and it just takes away a lot. And to be honest, like these sort of things is one of the reasons why I still prefer, if I'm practicing hard, I prefer using TTS. That and also just taking up your tuning counter. Yeah, I just want to remember that on my own. I don't want to forget it when I'm playing live because I'm too used to TheRelaxed doing it for me.
See, the good news for me is I already have like such a knack for reminding myself what to do with this hand because I can't feel anything that like with Tunic, it's just this hand's job. Like that's the whole point. I'm gonna be ticking up Tunic. That's just like every day, right? Like I have to think like a little bit extra because I have no feeling is what it is. The nerves are healing in this hand from a car accident. But anyway, yeah. So there's so much intent with like everything I do with my left hand that like I really don't think I miss tunic counters because I have to like day by day basically tick tunic counters up nonstop, just like reminder What am I doing? What am I doing? Anyway, but yeah, I get that for sure. I'm still a fan of Talishar.
Hold on.
Yeah.
You taking up Tunic? Hold on. I thought you just play Levia and you play Husk. What are you talking about?
Whoa. Hey, man.
Me?
There are Tunic Levia builds, all right? Let's not forget.
Oh?
Oh, come on. This proves you don't watch my content. Look, you've never seen the clickbait that is...
I've seen the Hexagar one.
Where'd we have it? Bone Basher Levia? Come on, man. This is a Tunic build. Tunic Pummel. 9 Pummel. This is all it's about. Yeah.
Actually, had someone play that against me. So, yeah.
I hope they destroyed you. But it normally is pretty bad into Iyslander. Like, it's pretty unplayable. But yeah. All right. Well, I still have like 30 minutes before I need to go to work. So if you want to play a game, we can jump into that.
Sure. Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. Private. No peeking.
Hang on. I'm just gonna... You catch up with chat for a bit. I just want to see what people have been saying.
Oh, this is true. Yeah. I love this format, says John Powell. Loves the stream format. Thank you. You weren't here in the beginning, I hope. There was a lot of issues with just getting this all set up. But yeah, it's pretty good. Just adding in friends and turning myself blue. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. But if you like anything you see right now, I promise you on Saturday, it's going to just be unbelievable. It's like nothing you've ever seen before in the streaming space for Flesh and Blood. Super excited for it. I am a little worried that overall, because everyone's playing ProQuest that weekend, viewership probably won't be like amazing at first. I think the VODs are going to do really, really well. But we do want a lot of active viewers because we've got like 40 Dragon Shields to give away or whatever it is. So just being there will be quite nice. But if you're at a ProQuest and you're doing your own thing and you're raking in those wins, your invites to PT3 in Baltimore, hey, that's also, please do that. I mean, that is great too. But overall, yeah, just going to be an exciting weekend, no matter what you're doing. All right. Let me pick a deck. Play this one.
Are we just playing for fun decks? Because I have a fun deck which I just kind of haven't messing around with.
I mean, I don't know. What do you consider Levia? Is she just always up for fun deck? Jesus.
So I don't. In your hands, Levia is actually a threat. So I wouldn't say this is for fun in your hands.
Okay. Here, honest. Well, I'm playing Levia. Like, I'm just telling you now.
Right.
You do what you want.
To play against my for fun Tiger Katsu, or do you want to play against Iyslander?
You could do Katsu. That doesn't get a lot of coverage, right. And we just watched an Iyslander game, so why not?
Sounds good.
All right, now there's like the right way to play this matchup, or there's the fun way to play this matchup. I think we'll go the fun way.
That's what I'm doing. I don't. Yeah, I mean, Katsu in general is just like for fun right now, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you said it yourself. You didn't want to cast that Tarsha game because you're like, oh, it's Katsu in here? That's not mana relevant. Get that out of here.
I think at first it was hype, right? Like, at first it really seemed like that deck was going to be nuts, and then you realize, well, it's just not better than Fi. Like,
yep.
Sad truth. Sad truth. Okay.
I'm going to choose player turn auto.
Do this. I am really enjoying this Levi deck, though. I'll definitely take this or like maybe 1 or 2 cards different on Sunday. So no leaks, everybody. Keep it hush hush. Okay.
Okay.
Get things started with some graveyard fill. Always appreciated. Josh is going to be here sick. Giving me blues. All right.
That's quite a few blues. Quite a few more blues than I would have liked. And let's see. I'm gonna start with a good old Kodach.
Mm-hmm.
Here you go.
Into surging. Okay. Oh, these are like more. These are pretty recognizable Katsu play patterns. Where's this tiger splash you speak of? I don't see it.
Oh yeah, chill. You'll see it. I call it Tiger Katsu good stuff because I don't want to get rid of surging strike and stuff. Especially
that is the good stuff.
They let it hit, get whelming.
Oh, okay. Well, you already have a card for Arsenal, don't you? Don't you?
You put Husk in front of this. You want to say that for every attack?
You're gonna say this for every attack? Holy!
Because the Kodachi for one, you should put Husk in front of this.
Let's see. This is kind of a weird spot. I don't love playing my playing my graveyard out so early. But I do want to land that. Yeah, let's just take it.
This matchup seems really bad just because, like, for my first Tiger Swipe, you can always just, like, husk it.
Yep.
It's such a big blowout. Do I want to use Katsu's ability? No.
Yeah, there tends to be a pretty good equalizer on your first blowout turn. Hopefully, I just had a good turn into you, so you ate all that damage, right? It can line up where it's like, oh, my turn just wasn't great, and then you had your blowout turn, and then the life deficit still sticks pretty hard. But if it lines up better than that, and then I just like use equipment rather than my hand, the matchup can feel pretty good. What doesn't feel good though is obviously missing the blue on this hand. We had Dread Screamer plus Graveling, which is just like insane. If we're able to keep the blue there, it's 13 damage off 3. Right, it's just nuts. Didn't have it though. Your progress is Saturday. Can't wait to lose to Levia again. Oh, to Levi again. Oh, you're in Chicago? Yeah, I don't know. Do you think Levi's going to be on Azalea? He really does switch for the meta. Like, as much as he is a Azalea fan, he will pick what he believes to be a good meta choice, because in his hands, Azalea will win the matchup she's supposed to. Like, that's just how it works. Right? Like, Azalea will win XYZ. She will lose ABC. And so he will pick Azalea as like a real meta pick. It's never like a risk for him, right? Because he's going to play the deck perfectly. So I wonder if he considers Azalea really good right now. Probably not. Probably not. Crouching Tiger then for 2. Threatening Mask here. You can Ancestral these, right? Yeah, because it's a ninja attack. Sure, I guess. I'll block 3.
This round's on me. The tech, you brought the tech.
No, that is a blue. That is a blue block 3. Like, I just run it. I just run it. Oh, this card. Interesting. You know, I haven't seen this deck enough. I've seen like it do like the big turn, but like these smaller turns are still really interesting. So you got Flex Claws in here.
It's part of why I have the Surging Strike stuff in here. Just because, I mean, Surging into Whelming is just nuts, right? Like, so... that's why I still have this and call it the good stuff.
This is probably not worth it, but we'll do it.
I don't mind getting your armor there.
Yep.
Alright, what is this?
That is a 9. It is a 2-card 9.
God damn it. And you complain about Iyslander's value.
Whoa, man. Does Iyslander just draw a hand and say I lose? Come on. That is... that's the cross eye barrel, right? Like, that's just a Levia problem.
Right.
Oh, yes. This is so good for me. Thank you, thank you. This is how you want things to line up. Okay, that was the wrong discard, though, to get things started. Nice. Unfortunate.
Okay. Levia does... I mean, I forget. I watch this stuff so much, but I forget whether you have CNCs on the list. I feel like against me, you probably do bring in CNCs. Doesn't make sense, so let's maybe wait on some blocks. Just hope you didn't draw enough blues to swing the
Yeah, no, that's why the discard is such a big deal. If you just, like, Boneyard Marauder is the card you want to hold for a Blood Rush turn, which is why I went for the Endless Maw instead of Forced Blood Rush last turn. Because I'd rather spread value, right? Like, Endless as a 2-card hand 9 is just sick already. But we discarded the Boneyard, which is rough.
Cool.
Oh well.
And you have no extra action points, so this is the last thing. Okay.
Yep.
Ouch! This is painful. And this is what I mean. I feel like in your hands, Levia is just doing this overrate things, and it's stuff I've just never seen Levia do.
Well, I mean, that's how you're like supposed to build the deck, right? Like, if you're not doing this, you probably just like aren't winning any game. To be fair. All right, just don't end with a snatch again. I'd appreciate that. Oh wait, that's the draw card, right? Oh, that's like the same thing as a snatch. Hold up.
You need to undo.
Yeah.
This was just a natural surging into Whelming draw.
Natural surging into Whelming. So now if I let it hit, it still can stack in a way that you discard the Whelming, right? Like to Katsu, right? It still works that way.
Second stack, so I draw first. I can stack the hit triggers.
Yep. So you draw, and then you can Katsu if it's a 0, and then you'd get the Magenshis, and you have the Tunic resource. That's pretty scary. I mean, if you just have Magenshi with Tunic up, that's also pretty insane. It's a lot of equipment to give you to deny this, though, because I do need this hand, this 2-card hand.
Yeah, to save your 5 lives. So, may I make a suggestion of what you can block with?
Yes. I mean, you want me to say 0 or say Husk?
No.
Block with nothing or block with Husk? Yeah. We'll do this. Yeah. We'll do this. It's actually really risky to cycle this arsenal because it's decent, but it's not the best. But I could just also draw trash. I'm gonna cycle. Let's be greedy. Oh, that's so definitely not your so trash. Then, because you yeah, no, I would never do that. Yeah, that arsenal cycle is pretty garbo. It's okay. We'll come in for 2-card 9 again.
Right, this is... And this turn almost worked. Yeah, this combo deck is very so freaking fragile. Like, you need like exactly the right things.
Have you seen that some Phis are actually running... what's the name of that new 0 block 3 that like... It's a majestic, it makes a tiger at the start of your turn?
Oh, Mind State of the Tiger?
Mind State of the Tiger. Yeah, so some Phis are actually running that, so that into Oldhim, you can have like a quote-unquote 6-card hand. You get the crouching, and then you Art of War or like E-Strike with a fake card, basically. I've seen it pop up. It's pretty interesting.
It's kind of cool, yeah.
All right, this hand sucks, but at least your hand also sucked, right? That's like the good news.
Yeah, I think something I'm messing up with this deck is my Arsenal priority. I think what I have in Arsenal is actually not the Arsenal priority. You let it hit. Oh, it can trigger Katsu.
Well, I drew all reds. So like that's the kind of situation where if that was your big turn, like I just lose and it's just because it's a card game. Like I have nothing. I need to keep 3 cards or, you know, I take like an extra 8 blood debt or whatever it was at. So, you know, those situations do just happen. They do just happen. Luckily, it was only an E-Strike turn. Mind State. There it is, baby. Broken. Do you think we'll see more blood debt? Yeah, actually, I have confirmation that there will be more Levia cards coming in the expansion set this year. I mean, that's pretty obvious because Chain and Prism are getting reprinted in that set. So, like, yes, you would hope Bolton and Levia get more stuff, right? But I know for a fact that, yes, it is coming. Be excited. All right, no Razor. No Razor.
No Razor. I'm just losing this mid-range game.
Yeah, that's what's pretty incredible about Levia. Like, you can just, if you just get your value, I missed like 2 turns of good value. There was the red draw, and then there was the missing blue draw on that other hand. But like, even so, if you just play for value, sometimes she's nuts. Like, look at this. It's I just played a Husk. I basically just like played a Husk.
Let me think if I can, I don't know, get some mass trigger out of this thing. Oh, even Katsu triggers, right? I can just...
Yeah, you do get Katsu trigger off it. That's the one downside.
Nice. But
like, if you're putting 6 damage into it, and then you're Katsu triggering, that's probably drawing you like 3 damage-ish, 4 if it's the right card. And so it still buys me, you know, it still buys me life. We Make Vest says no Hexagore. I'm actually shelving Hexagore. I really love that deck, like a lot, but the amount of games that like you need to play it really well and then still get the Levia is just Levia losses is like absolutely exaggerated with that, like or exaggerated with that deck, because you play so heavily into blood debt. Like sometimes a card game is just a card game, and those situations are like the whole reason I took a break from Levia and tried Fi, because it's just miserable. It is just miserable. I love that deck, but to like take it to a PQ and deal with that kind of stuff, just no thank you. Doesn't sound fun. I'll play it, but probably not as a PQ deck, to be fair.
Right,
New chain.
Try some nonsense here. So with that,
my hand is so trash, and my arsenal's so trash. I don't know how I'm gonna win this. Best news you've heard all week. What, that chain's getting reprinted? Hell no. That should terrify you.
Prism getting reprinted terrifies me more, personally.
That's fair, that's fair. Yeah, I don't want that back either. Like, I don't want any game to just be a Scabs game. It's so miserable. But that is how it is. That's how it works.
I don't want to trigger... Do I want to trigger Katsu? Yes.
Yeah, I think I should have sided out these two cards. I'm stuck with a card in Arsenal that probably isn't worth it, and then I just drew another card that I was also waffling on. But yeah, they should probably not be in the list.
Damn! I forgot my Shuko buff. I Ancestral the Crouching Tiger, thinking a swipe would come in for 4, and it'll be just enough to kill a Blasmafat. I forgot about Shuko. God damn it.
What if we can wait? We can undo it if it doesn't affect anything. Like as long as you had this in hand already or whatever.
No, this was Arsenal. This was Arsenal forever. No, it's fine. It's fine.
Okay.
That no.
All right, so you didn't trigger Mask on Blasmafet. That's actually pretty big for me because now I have a chance to interrupt things.
Oh, yeah, no, definitely. I definitely messed up the sequencing here. I think I was thinking of the Katsu trigger and my Ancestral, but I didn't think about the Mask or the Shuko.
Hmm.
That's
so you have
that's what happens with a deck you're not familiar with. Yeah.
Wait, so how's it work? Tiger Swipe is in Banish Zone and it's playable. Is that what it's showing me?
Yes.
Okay, I get it. You can draw.
You're letting this hit?
Yeah, my hand has a Levia problem right now.
I love the way you phrase that. It just has a Levia problem.
It has a Levia problem.
Draw was merely okay.
Yeah, non-blocks in Levia are just like the most frustrating thing in the freaking world. Because,
You finally gave me a house.
yeah, well, I mean, it's gonna break on this turn anyway, so might as well stack it on a hit effect. But if you razor it, you razor it. Like, it's just it. I really have no choice with this hand. It's forced. It's very forced. Ooh, take the tempo. Well, hopefully you just miss. We can always pretend. Alright, yeah, baby! Winds of Eternity!
No, I got it.
Well, I mean, that's not a... Oh, wait, that one is good. You played a wins this turn, right? Or no?
Yes,
Did you?
I did.
You did? Okay, yeah. Alright, that one's good then.
A 5-card hand.
Alright, so, we'll finally get that out of Arsenal. It's absolute trash. But then we have to pitch a Deep-Rooted, which is an awful card as well. It doesn't block. That kind of threw off the entire turn. Just to play a Blue Dread Screamer, which is also not a red. But hey, it is what it is.
You have a Howl and Banish, right? Okay.
Yep, that's pretty lucky too. I like that. Take it.
Yeah, this
All right, you ready for this though? This is the busted Levia card.
Oh my god.
Graveling is the card that like no one knows exists. Then you play it and they're like, "What the fuck?" Like right? 1 for 7? Like Jesus, man. That's miraging, but somehow worse. But somehow still surprising. It's a thing.
So, yeah, I think this is what I have to do. You know what? I'm doing like what I do against like Runeblades, where I'm behind, and I just hope you draw your brick.
Oh well, I've drawn like a hella brick like twice and a half, so I don't think it's likely to happen again.
Oh man.
So yeah, especially on this. Yeah, I mean, no armor left. We always just eat this, and it is what it is. Hopefully you drew like a, blue Minnowism. Oh, that's probably not in your deck.
Yeah, that's not in the deck. Oh god, a Blood Rush? Oh no. This is it.
Wow, that was also not great. Jesus. Huh. Okay, well, we do what we gotta do.
See what else you have. Gosh, you do have another clock. God damn it.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. it could be better. It could be better.
Well, do I need to give you mass momentum? That's tragic. But I think I do. Oh, let's start with just giving you Tunic's probably not coming up, so I can just start giving you tunic if I need extra 2 block later. We can do that.
All right, so you'll die to reckless, is what you're telling me.
Yeah,
I'll take it. I'll take it.
Yeah, forgot about reckless. God damn it. Cool. Let's see whether you have it. Do you have it?
No. I pitched one earlier, so I'd be pretty lucky to get one here. Probably see it in like 2 hands.
Do this. We do this. And let's top that, bottom that. God. I need to. Sorry, I just need to do the order properly. Cause
Yeah, go for it. Do what you gotta.
Alright, it is in reaction. Yeah. Bottom that, and then we top that, so I draw it.
I fell in love with Runeblade well after Chain was LL'd. Looking forward to seeing how his reprint works out. Yeah, there's a lot of ways they could take it that would be more balanced, I think. If they really like the whole like banish for go again, then one way to make it I don't know if this is just a hot take here. This is a fresh idea. Maybe make Soul Shackles like cap at not cap, but maybe you make a Soul Shackle and it just like banishes, 2 cards and it doesn't stick. So every turn if you want to Soul Shackle, then next turn you're going to banish 2. And if you make a Soul Shackle, next turn's going to banish 2. And it probably does average out to still being able to mill him, but he also just like won't by turn 4 just like, draw 2 extra cards. I don't know. Maybe that wouldn't work. But something small like that might do it. They would know the numbers, not I.
I like that you don't have any armor for this.
Yeah, it's pretty dirty. Pretty
I didn't
dirty.
actually keep my mask the previous turn.
Yep. So basically, can your other 2 cards deal 7? I mean, if they do, I just lose. Yeah, so it's block 6, but in theory block 5 plus mask, so I do have to do it. Actually, let me think about that. If it's this 7, is it 2? Whereas if it's this, it's 6. It's still a card. Yes, that is better. Okay, we'll do this. All right, if those last cards still deal 7 damage, I do just lose because I can't block with anything else. And I think you can force it, right? Isn't there a 0 for 4? Wins,
yes.
right? Yeah, wins.
Choose a card from. Yeah, I'm going to discard this. I'm going to get the Winds of Eternity, which becomes 0 for 4.
Yep.
Yep. And here you go.
And that's it.
And then you die to Blood Tap?
Yep, I will die to Blood Debt. Yeah, that Blood Rush turn, the only way to turn off Blood Debt was to just play Unworldly, do nothing, which cost 3 resources to just not deal damage, which is pretty bad.
Right.
Oh, rough. Yeah. That's all we got.
Yeah, here's a 3 block.
Thank you. Yeah, I think Deep Rooted should just come out there. I was thinking about it. You can high roll and just like start with a recursion piece and it's pretty good. So I left 3 in the list just because I was going first. But that, yeah, probably not worth it still. Oh well.
Yeah. I really like this Katsu list just because like it has all the other on hits that you want to care about, like the Whelmings and the Take the Tempos. That like when I'm doing my Tiger thing, then sometimes a lot of the armor is already gone.
Yep.
So it's just a whole mass of on hits, which if you squint, that might be the only advantage this has over 5, because a lot of 5 is just vanilla damage, but still not as good.
No, but it is on track to get more, right? Because Outsiders has Katsu in it. It's pretty sick. Pretty sick. Wouldn't be a stream if Sant didn't die to Blood Debt. Oh, come on. That is so intermittent. You know that? It just like really doesn't happen. But for everyone right now, you probably missed the intro, and honestly, the intro is like pretty scuffed anyway. So I want to show you guys something before I wrap up stream here. And stick around. This is a teaser of everything we've got coming this weekend. So let me pull this up. We'll do... Yeah, hold up, everybody. I just gotta click a few buttons. I promise. It'll be up in a second. We'll change this. We'll show display capture. There we go. All right, everybody. Now that we've got more people watching the stream, just want to show off a couple things coming up for the stream this weekend, just to try to build some excitement here, because it is pretty darn exciting. So let's make sure you can see it. I think you can this time.
Massively hype.
Yeah,
for the semester start.
I think you can see it this time, right? That should just be working. Also, apparently this can't be like full screen or the drawing doesn't work. So let's make it almost full screen, about like right there.
Joshua says you die to Blood Dead at least once a stream.
Not true.
That is true. I've seen that. Even when he plays Dromai, I see him die to Blood Dead. It's kind of wild how he does that.
All right. So for everyone in the chat, this is where I'll leave you. Let me just show off a couple things coming up on Saturday's stream. So first of all, we got the caster cam. These are placeholder images just for measuring things out. Well, we've got that coming up. We've got some giveaways that we're planning on doing. And what's fun about some of these screens, right, is we can actually draw. So expect that to come up, right? Well, it might do like a, guess the drawing type of deal. Like, what card am I drawing? Who could know? What else is a spiky club thing? Don't say Bone Basher, right? Like, this should be pretty fun to mess around with. Anyway, there's that. We've got these fancy transitions coming in for some of our, like the big matches to be played, things like that. We've got these key cards that we're going to talk about just to start doing like top level analysis into the game itself, because for the game itself I do want to try to stick to more play-by-play, but this will give us a good intro as the player set up to start talking about like, oh hey, like this card really important for the matchup, like okay, be warned, like pummel's upcoming, like that kind of thing, right? Then
as the players are like shuffling up and stuff.
Yep, and you'll see
you have the little box to show them that.
Yep, you'll see them here getting ready, just so we're all on the same page. We've got the table cams themselves, which come from that LSS series that I did. There's a couple other features added into a live production, like a turn counter. So as you saw in our casting today, I think this was massive, where we were counting turns to kind of see where the last play sets of cards were in the deck, the ghost stack as we're calling it. So this is really cool. We can track this live, so that if we do need to make comments on like, hey, check this out, like turn 15 is coming. Like this is almost like this deck right here, like yes, they've got like that pitch stack, like whatever it is, right? You can just imagine that kind of commentary coming in. We've got cameras left. You can see a bit more zoomed in. Cameras right. We've got winner screens just to give people a bit of a highlight, right? We've got the roaming phone cam so that, I'll be walking around the venue and say, oh, hey, like Michael Fang, what's up, man? Do you want to like jump on and just like say something? And then he'll say, hello, this is a hand apparently. This is him talking. He'll say hello to the stream and we'll just like get that going on the ground. We've got some nice graphics where there's the meta view, the bracket itself, things like that. We've got the ambient camera, so we'll be picking up footage of the entire battle hardened just venue, so everyone in the background will be able to just pop by, do the jerk or whatever they want in front of the camera. Would be cool. But that's everything we've got planned for this stream. It's been an insane amount of work, like insane. And
we have some like segments in between games, so it's not just dead time.
Yes, exactly.
Giveaway is just some for fun stuff, engaging with the chat as well.
Yeah, so we have like, I don't know if we'll do all the giveaways, but there's like 40 dragon shields that I've got to give away. Probably spread those out a bit. We've also got some for fun segments popping in, just to make it engaging. It's like, a 10-hour event, but we're going to keep it super exciting. And I don't know if you drink coffee, Package, but I'm going to probably be guzzling all of it and more. But there we go. That's hype. That's this Saturday. Tune in.
I'm going to try and get my honey lemon thing just so my throat doesn't die. This is what I'm drinking right now, actually.
Good idea.
Like honey lemon warm drink. I've been drinking it all week because I've just been like, I can't have my voice go out this Saturday.
That is a good idea. I guess I'll skip out on that Screamo concert tonight. Good point. But all right, man, this was a lot of fun. Really enjoyed this co-stream, and obviously Saturday is going to be incredible. We get to bond a bit more, and just really make Flesh and Blood history. So thanks a lot, man. It means a lot that you're flying out and joining me. So I hope everyone understands.
Really, and thank you for like all the production value that you've been putting in. For you, bringing all your whole kit out there. This is going to be really exciting.
It really will
So
be.
looking forward to it.
And then one of us is going to win the Pro Quest on Sunday, right? So it'll be a great
Yeah,
weekend.
of course. It's gonna be 2 of us in the finals.
Oh, yeah. Man. Oh, there we go. And then we'll reset the entire stream, even though it was all delicately packed away, just to show off our final match. That'll be great. I'm looking forward to it. Will it be on this channel? Yes, it will be on this channel. It'll also be co-streamed on Twitch. We're doing this like restream thing right now. So if you prefer one platform to the other, I don't know if you do or not, but you can watch it on Twitch. And actually the chat will be shared in between the two. So it should be pretty engaging, like no matter where people are. This Twitch channel is run by one of the bigger sponsors. They're covering our hotel cost for the weekend. Shout out to Equinox Games. Really big deal, honestly. This is all community funded, right? Like I'm not getting paid for this. Package is, I mean, he bought his plane ticket
Flying on my own expense.
also out of his own pocket. Like none of this actually makes money. It's all just community funded for the community and hopefully leads to, you know, paid opportunities in the future. But that's it. It's all for you guys. So enjoy. It's been a fun day. And that'll be it for the stream. I got to go back to work.
Everyone.